The following segment is sponsored by the Salt Lake Home Show. Are you thinking about renovating your home? HGTV star Joe Mazza is here with 5 things you need to know before starting that project. Joe, great to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm psyched. I can't wait to get this started. Yeah.
We are so happy to have you here. Okay, what's the first piece of advice you have for people if they're starting that project?
Money. Everything comes down to money. Everything comes down to the money, right? So let's say you have a budget of $100,000. Don't make it $100,000, right? Leave some money, leave 10 to 15% back, maybe 15% back for the oops, I opened up a wall and there's asbestos, or it's a non-structural wall, there's termite damage. So make that $100,000 budget $80,000, $85,000.
Okay.
And if you have money left over, go on vacation.
Everybody wins. Then there you go. That's a really good piece of advice. What's the next one?
Next one. Find out, get the best contractor in the area.
Okay.
Now, getting the best contractor doesn't mean you have to spend the most money. It does not mean you have to spend the most money. Get a contractor that's reputable, that you can look up online. Friends use them, family has used them, and then plus you call them up and then you ask them 1,001 questions. Grill them. This is your money. If you're spending $100,000, make sure you know where that money's going. It's your project, kind of important. Now, if people aren't familiar with what a contractor does, can you break that down for us? The contractor should come in and do everything for you. Get the permits for you, get all the material for you. I mean, you obviously pick out the material. Sure. But have them, they pick out they go grab the material, they bring the material to the house, they're gonna do the demo, they're gonna do everything. They're taking the load off of your back. So you're looking at the big picture, basically, if we haven't been through this. The big picture, that's their job. That's why you hire them to do it. And why is it so important to research a good one? Because if you don't, it's going to nip you in the bud later on. You don't want that. Big time. I'm telling you now, I do home inspections, I do a lot of them, and I do a lot of flips. These people that go in and they think that they can watch TV, watch these shows, and go in like, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And guess what happens? I go in as a home inspector, and I'm like, dude, what happened? So it's the contractor's job to do it and do it right and do it by the book. Okay, that makes sense. Now, if we talk about lead-based paint, and it can be a concern, how do we know if we have this in our house, Joe? Any home built before 1978 is assumed to have lead-based paint. Okay. So you have options. One is to encapsulate it. You can paint over everything, and that's encapsulating it so it's not exposed. 2, you can gut the entire house, top to bottom, inside out. That's going to cost super amount of money, super amount of money. You can change moldings, you can change windows. There's ways around it. It's just you don't want it exposed. And if you have a pet, let's say you have a dog, you don't want the dog scratching at it. That's another big issue. That's a good point. Okay, it's good to know that we don't have to completely knock down the house. Now, what about getting a permit? How important is that? If you don't get a permit, let's just say you're working on a home and you cut off the heat, you cut off the AC, you cut off the electricity, and the town comes in and they're like, shut it down. You have no permits. Guess what? Now you're stuck and you have to wait for the town. Now the town is going to be pissed off at you, so they're not going to rush to get you a permit. They're not going to rush. They're going to take their time. So now you're living in a house with no heat or no AC. So basically what Joe is saying is get your permit ahead of time so you don't run into that. And you're going to be at the home show this weekend. Tell me what you're doing. I am. I will be on stage today at 6 o'clock p.m. and tomorrow Saturday at 1 o'clock. Bring your questions. Bring all your questions. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm here for you. Whether it's home related, I'm going to talk about my family, what I do, my upbringing, the whole 9 yards. It's fun. It's relaxed. It's just have a good time. That's all. Head down and ask questions to this guy. He is the professional. If you want tickets, you can go to the website on your screen. Joe, thanks so much for being here. You're giving us all the tips. Great to see you. Thanks for having me.